Well, the deaths of thousands of Armenians after the First World War is the subject of a new play. I Wish to Die Singing, Voices from the Armenian Genocide, is a hard-hitting work that details the story of the tragedy from a child's perspective. It's performed by the Turkish Armenian actress Tamar Karabetyan. I'm delighted to say that she joins me in the studio. Very good morning to you. And the interesting thing is using the child as the vehicle to describe something absolutely horrific, because the child tells the story in a very matter-of-fact way.
Yes, she does, and I think that's her way of dealing with the atrocities she's seen, that she has to, in a way, distance herself from what she's seen, and the way to do that is actually you just describe what you see, and without getting yourself emotionally involved, as a kind of protection mechanism.
And in a sense, really, that's something which has happened with the Armenian community, those who witnessed what went on, who survived it, because they've told the story, they've stopped telling it, but they've had to emotionally distance themselves as well, because they need to get on with their lives to move forward.
Absolutely. I think the past is very much there in the memories, but you have to move on, and to be able to lead a normal life, you just focus on your current state and want to make the most of what you have now.
Now, the child comes from a very normal family, and that's the point. These were ordinary people who we could all empathise with.
Absolutely, yeah. Normal in a village, very happy, you know, parents, sibling, bigger family, grandparents, cousins, aunties. Very normal daily lives, going to school, you know, singing, learning to play instruments, all of that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden everything changes.
And that structure in the community at that time, that was very typical, was it? That you would have the core group, but you'd also have other extended members of the family living close by?
Very close, with the whole extended family, yeah. Obviously in the villages as well, families would stick together, so that was normal, yeah.
Now, from Tam's report, we had a sense of some of the appalling things which happened, but that's just a sense of it. The child goes into phenomenal detail, and it is quite sickening, actually, that people were humiliated, women raped, badly treated, and children killed because the parents thought it was the best thing that could happen to them, because there was no point putting them through the indignities they were suffering.
People killing their own children. One of the speeches my character has is a grandparent drowning her grandchildren because she thinks that's a better way to die. And I guess protect some kind of dignity and not have to put them through the atrocities that the officials, the guards, might put them through.
How did you emotionally prepare for this role? Because you are part Armenian, so this massacre runs through your history, it runs in the family.
It does, and I think when I heard about this project, I really wanted to get involved, obviously, because it's personally very relevant subject to me. In terms of preparing emotionally, it's a pretty dark and deep place to go, but I think to do it justice, obviously a lot of research, but also to try and get into the characters, just seeing the child's kind of innocence and focusing on that, and then seeing how she might react to the things she's seen.
But it must be very difficult, though, because you're going into a very deep, dark place, and it is part of your culture, part of your history, that tragic thread. So it must have been incredibly emotional. How do you actually, when you're working, pull back from wanting to cry? It would be a natural instinct to want to cry.
Yes, I think in preparation you sort of get used to that, and then before and after a performance you always kind of do a bit of a routine thing of getting yourself into the character and then getting yourself out of the character, so that you're leaving that in the space of the performance space, so that you can come back to sort of day-to-day life.
Is it something, though, that your family talked about at all, or was it something which was referred to fleetingly?
Not really. I mean, obviously, the genocide in general, yes, that's something we knew about, talked about. But in terms of my own family's history, they never really told their story. My dad's parents were both sent to Istanbul on trains and then picked up by families. And they didn't really know what to tell from their history, so it's kind of a bit in the dark. We don't really know what happened or where they're from. So that's a bit of a shame that, you know, at the time they couldn't really say much.
Sure. I mean, what we're doing now is that we've gone to Yerevan in Armenia, some live pictures there where these services of remembrance are taking place. And it's the pain of this is not just being felt by Armenians in the area, but worldwide, because this is a community which was scattered.
Yeah. Yes, there's Armenians, I mean, all over the world who had to escape from Turkey, well, Ottoman Empire at the time, and now there's a big diaspora who are very angry, who want to make their voices heard, and obviously today is a big day to mark.
And a statement as well of support for the Armenians, because I understand that President François Hollande, the leader of France, he's also attended this ceremony. And of course there have been some high-profile figures like the Pope who've actually described this as a genocide. He has been criticised for his remarks by Turkey. But do you feel that perhaps in your lifetime, my lifetime, there will come a time when Turkey will actually say, yes, it was a genocide, because there's a reluctance to say that?
Yes. I hope so. I would really like to see that. At the moment, I don't know that it will happen, not for a while. And as I think, but it's important for other countries, other people outside of Turkey to recognise it, and that will put pressure on Turkey more and more, hopefully. And sort of political relations can be maybe put aside to recognise this and move on, so that just, you know, sort out the past and then we can move on fresh.
Sure, we hope so too. The play I Wish to Die Singing, Voices from the Armenian Genocide, that kicks off in London. Which theatre, very briefly?
Finborough Theatre in Earl's Court. We've started last night, so we'll be on until the 16th of May.
Excellent. But Tamar Karabetyan, good luck with your role.
Thank
a very
you
difficult
very
role, but I'm sure it's one that you'll handle with incredible professionalism.
Thank
you for joining me here on This Day Live.